There are many great reasons to grow flowers in your garden, other than the fact that they're beautiful. They add biodiversity into the soil, they attract pollinators, and also feed those pollinators. But with so many flowers to choose from, it can be intimidating for a brand new gardener. It doesn't have to be complicated or scary though, and I'm about to share with you my favorite flowers for first-time gardeners. Starting with perennials might be the best way to go for a first-time gardener because it's something that you can get planted and established while you expand your skills. Most of them are pretty durable and hardy, and a lot of them can be cut and put into bouquets that you can bring inside the house. Gladiolas are often sold as bulbs in bags, and you can get a little patch of gladiolas started and they will spread throughout the years. They're a fantastic summer bloomer with really tough greenery that grows with it. Next on my list are daylilies. Daylilies are something that are really hardy, that tend to naturalize as time goes by, and they don't require a lot of care. A word to the wise though, if you have cats, you may not want to cut those blooms and bring them in because lilies have been known to be toxic to cats. Sedum or stonecrop is a very good option for a first-year gardener because once again, it's something that you can get in the ground, get established, and it'll come back year after year. It usually blooms in the late end of the summertime and sticks around till fall. Once established, requires very little care. Sedums are actually easy to propagate, and that means take cuttings off that plant and make more plants, and that's something that as you get more advanced, you can look into. Moving on to some annuals, one of the favorite plants of many gardeners is marigolds. Marigolds are often companion planted with things like tomatoes because pests don't like marigolds. They don't have the best fragrance in the world, but they are a very hardy, durable plant that will give you a lot of enjoyment throughout the season. Don't think you have to grow these from seeds. There's no shame in buying them from your local nursery. Zinnias are another great staple in many flower gardens. They're easy to grow from seed, and if you succession plant, meaning you plant a couple of seeds every few weeks, you'll have blooms all season long. Zinnias are prone to something called powdery mildew, where the leaves start to kind of shrivel up and look kind of ugly. And when that happens, just chop the plant and get rid of it, and that is why you succession plant, so that you have fresh plants coming all throughout the season. A lot of gardeners love growing sunflowers. Pollinators seem to love them. They're very easy to plant. Hold on, there's a siren. As I was saying, they are relatively easy to grow. You just pop the seed in the ground, keep it watered, and once established, they don't require a whole lot of care. The nice thing about sunflowers is they come in a wide variety of sizes, colors, and even shapes. Every morning, my sunflowers are absolutely covered in bees. Honeybees and bumblebees specifically really seem to like this. And if you don't cut off the sunflower heads after they, expire, the birds will actually come eat the seeds, so you're still feeding the ecosystem. Another great thing about sunflowers is if you're going to start composting, once the flower is expired, that's a lot of biomass that you can add to your compost pile. Composting is something I'll cover in another video. And as I mentioned, sunflowers come in a wide variety of colors. They're not just the standard yellow that you may be used to. They come in deep burgundies and whites. There's purple and green. There's just a lot of different sunflower colors out there to choose from. Cosmos are another favorite of flower gardeners. They're very easy to grow. They thrive in really crappy soil. And if you keep cutting on this, it will keep producing. Now I have a lot of whites, pinks, and purples in my mix, but cosmos do come in a variety of colors. They also come in single and double petals. Now I should have mentioned when I talked about perennials, black-eyed Susans. These little plants are so durable and so easily spread that birds tend to spread them all over the place. Matter of fact, in our back acreage in the woods there, all along, anywhere the sun hits, we have black-eyed Susans growing, and we never planted them. That's just something the birds planted. Their root structure is very durable, and they've withstood droughts and wet seasons, and they don't really suffer from too many diseases. They're very easily naturalized. They drop their seeds and spread that way. And that's a really great foundational plant if you're looking into flower gardening. As tempting as it may be, your first year of flower gardening, I might suggest avoiding plants like the dahlia. And I love dahlias. They're some of my favorite flowers. However, they require a bit more knowledge. They're very susceptible to certain diseases that can destroy the plant. Thank you, Frodo. And spread to your other dahlias. They're expensive to buy, so having that disease spread can really be financially burdensome. Once you gain more knowledge, I absolutely encourage you to explore dahlias. There are so many different varieties and they are so gorgeous. But we'll discuss intermediate plants maybe in another video. I'd be remiss if I didn't discuss something like lavender. Now, lavender is a little hard to start from seed, and I would suggest when you first get started, maybe buying some plant starts. But once established, they can really thrive on neglect. They do very well in rocky and sandy soils. They're just really fragrant, and the pollinators seem to actually absolutely love them. I have some bonus tips for you. Mulch. Mulch is going to be your absolute friend when it comes to your flowers. Having the soil dry out and the roots dry out can really stress out the plant and leave them susceptible to more disease. And the weaker the plant is, the more they can succumb to things like pest pressure. Simply adding a light layer of mulch around your flowers can do wonders for keeping the moisture in and keeping the pest pressure down. And as an added bonus, as that mulch breaks down, it turns into compost and will actually feed the flowers for years to come. And while it might be tempting to use synthetic fertilizers, if you actually focus on your soil health using things like compost and natural amendments, your soil will improve over time, feeding your plant and keeping just the plants do so much better. And if you move to something like edible flowers, you're going to be thankful you're not eating those pesticides and fertilizers. Keep your weed pressure down by weeding and using things like mulch, and keep the plant watered well until it's established. Once established, they can take a little less care, but developing those good strong roots will lead to really healthier plants and a happier you. I absolutely love seeing more and more people getting interested in planting flowers for more than just landscaping. It seems like the general public is really getting invested in more into feeding pollinators and working on their own local ecosystems. If there's anything I can do to help, if you have any questions, feel free to pop them below and I will answer them for you as soon as I can. Sorry I hit my mic again. I'm really working on that. In the meantime, like this video if you like this video, subscribe if you feel like it, and until next time, keep growing strong.